All righty. All
It wasn't even a
righty.
combat encounter. Oh no!
Helen, you were at the top of the initiative. What would you like to do?
Go to therapy.
Go to therapy.
Yeah.
Question all my life choices.
Well, seeing as the big one just incapacitated Oliver from across the room, I feel like that's where my attention would go. And he would just probably let out one of those, like, passionate yells as he just looses an arrow center of mass on the big boy.
Okay, let's do it.
18.
18. That will hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Eight damage.
Eight
And
damage.
then what he's going to go and do with this one, as a bonus action, he's going to cast Ensnaring Strike,
Okay.
which so Thorns rises up. If he doesn't pass a strength check, he's restrained. Large or larger creatures have advantage.
And that's a check, not a save, correct?
That is it's a strength saving throw.
Okay. DC of
15.
15. He fails.
So just cast right here. Looks like it's 3 damage, and
3 damage.
it's restrained. And at the start of every turn, while ensnared, does an additional 1d6 damage.
Okay. And it's a strength check to break free, right?
Correct.
Okay. Also forgot the resistances. The arrow attack that you did was not as damaging as you thought it would be. Ensnaring. I am going to assume that that counts as magical piercing damage. It just lists piercing damage.
It's just piercing.
So I'm going to count that as non-magical damage for now as well.
Sure.
Do my math. Next up, we have Arbor.
Hi. So, question, does Ponder being incapacitated mean that, like, our telepathy is gone now?
Yes.
As far as
That was a
telepathic bond-
concentration, or was it? Let's check really quickly.
I believe I've used telepathic bond like too many times. I'm pretty sure it's not a concentration.
Correct. So it will last for the duration of the next 10
hours.
minutes. So basically, or I'm sorry, yeah, an hour. Sorry, I was looking at casting time, not duration. My apologies.
Yes,
Okay.
1 hour.
So the telepathic bond will retain.
All right, in that case,
Lep, you are up next.
how large is this room that we are in?
20 by 30.
Okay, I would love to cast Spike Growth, telling the rest of my party that this is happening, so that we can try and take a second to create some distance between us. So making some difficult terrain to give us a second to catch ourselves and try and separate us from the rest of the baddies that are here. Is that something?
You can certainly try that.
Let's try it.
All right. Spike growth is
2nd level.
150 feet for a 20-foot radius.
Yes.
Yes. So where would you like to cast it? I'm sorry, 20-foot diameter, 20-foot sphere. Yeah, so 20-foot diameter. It is not going to cover the entire room, but it will cover a significant amount of the room. Not all of your adversaries are going to be in range of that spell. So like if you cast it in the very center of the room, you will basically make a 5-foot path along either end, one near you and one near the end of the other end of the room. Or you can cast it in either corner, or where do you want the center of that spell to land?
Ideally, in between us. I guess I didn't realize that it is a circle. So maybe this is not the best idea if it's going to take up most of the room. But
Well, it's not going to take up most of the room if you cast it off to one side.
yeah. But there's no way to like get it between us and who all else is in this room?
You
Is
have
it
6 other entities in the room with you.
right? So is there a way to make it between us, or is the room too small for that?
So if you cast it basically where you are standing, so that it's centered where you are, then you can have up to 10 feet between the end of the spike growth and the wall.
Mm-hmm.
But like there's 2 imps in the corner across from you on the short end, on the short wall of the room. There's a bargeist kind of puffing up like in the middle of the room. There's a goblin, which the other thing was a goblin, so it's reasonable to assume that that goblin is not a goblin, that's found its way to the far corner of the room along the wall that the door is on. And then directly diagonal of the room from you is the jackal-headed creature with the teleportation circle.
Right. Hmm. I don't know then. That's probably not the best idea.
So like you can cast it like over on the other side of the room if you want and create difficult terrain for some portion of your adversaries, but because of how they are spread out in the room, you will not be able to catch all 6 of them at once.
Great. Let's just do that. For whichever are like, if there's some that are closer, however we can most efficiently do that. Do you
Yes.
know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
have it be for the majority of them, maybe not this big one that just puffed up. And that way we can like try to make this a little more manageable.
So the ones that are closest together are either the ones kind of to your left and in front of you, which is I keep doing the math wrong. Thank you, brain. Which is the large bargeist and the three imps total. Or you can grab the large bargeist, the jackal-headed creature, and the goblin.
Let's go with the latter then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you will cast spike growth to affect the 3 with moves into or within the area, takes 2d4 damage for every 5 feet it travels. Perfect. Fabulous. Okay. And that lasts concentration. All right, good. Okay. Blep. It is your turn. Edward, you are up next.
Cool. So she's gonna rush this jackal, and I would like to
Do allies take damage from the spike growth?
I think Arbor might have stepped away.
No, it just says the area becomes difficult terrain for the duration.
Okay.
So in order to move into the difficult terrain, you are going to end up taking damage from the difficult terrain. So if you are attacking the jackal-headed creature, you are going to end up moving into that terrain unless you're making a ranged attack.
Ranged attack. Whomst?
Sometimes paladins get javelins. It's fine.
Yeah, no, she's got a long sword. So nope, she's just gonna get right up on him. I would like to though bonus action branding smite. And sorry. So yeah, bonus action branding smite, and then go to swing at him as her action two-handed. Next time you hit a creature with a weapon attack before the spell ends, weapon gleams with astral radiance as you strike. The attack deals an extra 2d6 radiant damage to the target, assuming it hits.
Okay.
There's some additional stuff as well, but we'll wait about that until I know if I hit.
It's
okay.
With a snaring strike, it's restrained, so you should have advantage, I believe.
Ooh.
That's how restrained works.
Nice. Okay. So
please check the group chat at your earliest convenience as well.
Will do.
And don't forget to roll your 2d4 damage.
For myself?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, I'm doing my second roll with advantage. Oh, that's so good. 20. I'm assuming a 23 hits.
A 23 will hit? Yes.
Very nice. Okay. So this is the regular damage for slashing. And then the spell. Where did it go? I said branding smite, right? Yes, I said branding smite. I remember my own spell choice.
And the smite gives you magical damage on your weapon hit, yes?
Yes. So I'm rolling that damage right now. Ooh, 11 radiant damage. That is nice.
So for clarity, the longsword damage becomes magical damage because of the smite, or it stays slashing?
Ooh, let me check the...
Because it's been a second.
The weapon gleams with astral radiance as you strike. The attack deals an extra 2d6 radiant damage to the target, which becomes visible if it's invisible, and the target sheds... It doesn't say it makes the actual attack itself magical. It just says it does additional damage.
Okay. So the slash itself
probably
does not do as much as you would like. But that radiant damage though.
That good radiant damage.
Yes. All righty. Edward, you are up.
So seeing what just happened, obviously he's shocked and horrified. But I would say in like a split second, he goes from that terror and it's almost like a complete shutdown. Like suddenly his eyes just become colder. It's stone-faced. It feels just very, not robotic, but like autopilot. And he's going to focus on I think it was the imp, that incapacitated
Oh no.
Oliver.
That was the jackal-headed creature.
The jackal-headed character.
Mhm.
I would like to see if I can cast fear on it.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Does that work?
I believe that's a saving throw.
Yes, it is.
Okay. What's your DC? And is it wisdom or is it charisma?
It is a wisdom saving throw, and the attack save is wisdom 12.
It saves.
God damn it.
You reach
Yeah,
out and try to cast the spell, and it just shrugs it off.
Edward doesn't really react to the failure. The man is on straight autopilot. He's not happy.
Alrighty.
And I think that'll be my turn.
Okay. Next up is the Bargeist, which will make a where's the thing? It will take its movement to go over to the brazier and plunge its paw into the brazier, and you see the fire climb up its body.
Is this the jackal?
The Bargeist.
Oh, the Bargeist. Okay, never mind. My apologies.
You see it climb up its body, and it's like the mantle of this creature just ignites in flame.
No thanks.
And it
Great.
approaches Sir Blep and oh no, I'm sorry. I misread the feature. I
Oh my
redacted
God.
that.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. All I know is the consequences of my actions.
It's still a thing.
However, it will instead cast levitate on itself.
Mm-hmm.
And take its full movement towards Sir Blep.
There's the consequences of my actions chasing me right now.
Oh boy. Oh boy, bestie.
Oops.
So it will take its full movement towards Sir Blep. And
This is fine.
I believe, sorry, give me just a second here. Yes, that will complete its turn. And it will just basically cuss you out in Abyssal.
Ah, damn it. I was hoping you would say infernal so I could curse at him back.
You then have, what was the duration of that turn?
Ooh,
Fiendish?
the channel divinity thing?
Yeah, the channel divinity.
Let me check. There's a lot. Oh boy, please bear with me. They're turned for 1 minute, so for
Okay.
10 rounds?
Are they able to save again on their next round of initiative?
Let me check. As an action, blah, blah, blah. Turn creature must spend its turns trying to move as far away from you as it can, and it can't willingly move to a space within their feet. It also can't take reactions. Can only use a dash action or try to escape from an effect that prevents it from moving. It doesn't say yes or no either way.
So it's just impacted for the duration. So it is going to try to sidle its way basically out of the room and towards the threshold. So it is going to take its 2d4 damage.
I have to do my
Ow.
damage. I forgot my damage.
7 damage. All right. You also have the 3 imps in the corner here that are also afraid of Sir Blep. So the first one is going to attack Arbor. Where my attack? There's so much going on here. We have a sting attack. Which is that is a useless roll. I would like a weapon attack, please. Thank you, D&D Beyond. There we go. 23 to hit. I'm going to assume that that hits Arbor. And you will take a total of 5 piercing damage. Please make me a Constitution saving throw, DC 11. You make it. You feel this little fiend come up and just latch onto you and feel the teeth sink into you, and then there's this like pulse as it like bites down a little bit harder for a second, and you kind of shake out your arm and like shake it off of you again, but you know that bite was not just the teeth. The second imp will attack Callum. Do. 21 to hit.
That'll hit.
Ooh, 7 piercing damage. And please make that Constitution saving throw. You get that same sensation. You feel that second like pulse of the jaw from the imps, and you manage to shake it off, and it stings, and it shouldn't sting like that, but boy does it sting. Alrighty. The final imp is going to fly over to the jackal-headed creature and attempt to help it break free from the entanglement. So I am going to maybe do the thing. We will see. Not like that, I'm not going to. We will attempt for advantage. And the creature breaks free. I'm also going to give everybody an opportunity to roll a history or religion check to identify this creature.
Mm-hmm.
Kellum, you know that this is the kind of fiend that works in a society of other fiends. And now that you kind of like take half a second to acknowledge like where you are, the fact that this fiend is here ransacking this place with accumulated scrolls and books and things like that, it makes perfect sense. This is a thief of knowledge. Edward, you know the name of this creature. This is an Arcanoloth. It is a courier of the blood war of fiends, and its specialty is to serve in acquiring information and selling it to the highest bidder. And there is that itch in the back of your head that says, thief, thief, scoundrel, kill it.
Okay.
And it is now the Arcanalolth's turn. Breaking free with the assistance of the other imp. Very quickly, you hear a language very, very ancient, in primordial, and a very quick motion of its hands, and the entire room is plunged into magical darkness.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did he move away from me before casting that?
Not that you saw.
Okay. Fair
Mechanically, he would have spent his entire movement escaping from the entanglement, but not that you saw.
Okay.
However, as darkness falls, you do hear, I will give you one more chance. Kellum, it is your turn in the initiative. Arbor, you are up next.
I can't see, and I have an imp in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yes.
I probably... draw my swords, but ready the attack, like against the imp in front of me, and be more and kind of do it the telepathic link of, since Sir Blep's in the front, right? I'll follow your lead here and basically ready the attack to attack if Sir Blep takes an aggressive action.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You've readied an attack. You're staying in place. Any bonus action? Okay. Arbor, you are up. Sir Blep, you are next.
So if this room has plunged into darkness, this Bargeist is no longer on fire then.
I'm sorry, that I had to redact that. The Bargeist was never on fire.
Oh, great. Okay, even better. I would love to like ready up a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna cast Druidcraft to light one of the torches that has gone out.
I am going to point out that magical darkness is going to be oppressively dark.
Oh, so my teeny little cantrip isn't gonna do much.
You can light the torch. It's just not going to cast much light.
Yeah.
Non-magical light cannot illuminate magical darkness.
Gotcha.
You can also not see with dark vision unless you have a magical sight capability.
I was gonna ask that.
So if you have like demon sight or true sight or a magical light source, any of those will allow you to illuminate the darkness.
I super don't. unless I want to like cast a lightning bolt, which seems like not the right opportunity to do that. In that case,
I will also say I just checked the range on darkness. Those of you who are right up against the wall adjacent to the threshold, you are actually outside of the field of darkness, but only by about 5 feet. I missed that, Kellum.
Pretty good about mute. So we're just out of it with like I have an imp in front of me, but
Yeah.
Okay.
well, I'm like panicking a little bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and cast Guardian of Nature
Okay.
and transform into a primal beast, just in attempts to level the playing field.
Okay.
And then that is my turn.
Cool. I'm going to dispel magic on the darkness.
Okay.
So he says, I'm going to give you one last chance, and she casts dispel magic. It's a 3rd level, so I don't know if you need that information or not, if I need to roll anything. Like if it's
No,
4th level
you
or
will
higher, I
not
have to make an ability check.
Yeah, you will not have to roll anything.
Cool. And she just goes, one more chance to what? Let you steal from this hallowed ground?
Okay. You dispel the darkness.
Yep. And I cannot take any, I don't have any bonus actions. So that is literally my turn.
I
All
love
right.
the idea that the lights, like someone flicks a light switch off, and
That's
then there was a
basically-
bird, and then when the lights go back on, suddenly it's this like wolf.
It's like SpongeBob, where it's like Nosferatu.
Yes.
He's just standing there.
It's very
Ruin it.
Parent Trap, lights on, lights off.
Yes.
Edward, it is your turn.
It is. He's getting ready to attack, especially since his patron is willing him to do so. But as he's about to, he notices that the rest of his party is not attacking or is holding an attack. So he's feeling a bit conflicted. And there's a moment where he might just be about to cast something. And then I'm going to say that he's going to hold Shatter. He's not going to cast it, but he's holding. And he's looking at Sir Blep, like in anticipation. The man is angry. And he is just he's ready to just like let go of that rope that's about to snap. It's about to happen. He needs to see what's going to happen.
Okay.
And that'll be mine.
All right. The transformed Bargeist is going to attack Sir Blep.
Seems correct.
because it has no sense of control.
Mhm.
Oh, right. I was going to check that. So it is levitating. It is able to travel across the difficult terrain without taking damage. And it will oh, you know what? No. It is going to move towards the jackal-headed creature. It is not going to attack Sir Blep. And it is going to ready in action. The second Bargeist is going to have a moment of intelligence and also levitate. So the little goblin that was trudging through the spike growth goes, "Oh yeah," and levitates off the ground and continues its way towards the threshold, away from Sir Blep, coming up to the space near the imp that is attacking Callum. Edward is adjacent to Callum, yes? So then as it gets kind of out of that immediate space and has a little bit of breathing room behind Sir Blep, the goblin is going to then transform into a large bargeist as well. So there are now 2 bargeist in the room. And then the imps are going to make their next round of attacks. Again on Arbor.
If those imps are under turn undead, I think they have to spend their actions running away. I'm double
Running-
checking
oh,
it right now.
In fear from... They can't do anything, or they can't take any actions to you.
I'm double checking it right this second. As soon as I can find it again. I apologize. Channel turn on holy. A turn creature must spend its turns trying to move as far away from you as it can, and it can't willingly move to a space within 30 feet of you. It also can't take reactions. For its action, it can only use the dash action or try to escape from an effect that prevents it from moving. If there's nowhere to move, the creature can use the dodge action.
Okay, so it's trying to run.
Yeah.
But it cannot do anything else. Thank you for the clarification. All right, so...
For another 7 rounds.
Okay. So the imps then, we will say that they managed to get those attacks in like as they were trying to escape. And so then we will... Can I... do I have to like... Okay, we're going to do it this way. This will make sense. At least then it will be out of initiative. There we go. So the imps are going to continue past and out of the room. The second bargeist is still gonna puff up in defense, but is going to continue to make its way to the only available exit that it can see. Which leaves the Arcanaloth. Who is going to take a half step back, and the Bargeist is going to throw its big meaty claws around this smaller creature and cast Dimension Door.
Bro.
Does anybody have counterspell?
No, I don't think so.
Ah, damn it. Maybe our little wizard would have had it. Maybe.
Ah.
God.
Counterspell.
Um,
I've only got like warlock, angry spells.
heck. And he was no longer within the creature that was like, I'm giving you one more chance. He wasn't within melee with me anymore, right?
He hadn't moved.
Oh, he hadn't moved. Okay,
Yeah,
so if he took
he
a
hadn't
step
moved.
back, would I have a reaction to...
He did not move out of melee with you.
Oh, okay.
So he just moved back far enough that he
Gotcha.
was in the Bargeist space.
Gotcha. Okay.
He basically like trustfalled.
Just fall.
It was more of a lean than a step.
Yeah. Got you.
It was just that I am no longer face to face with you, kind of half step back.
Heck.
In theory, I could have used locate creature if I hadn't panicked turned into a wolf myself. But I could scry. I don't know
Okay.
that it would do much.
We are still in initiative.
Yeah.
So I am going to give you at the bottom of the initiative here the opportunity to make a perception check for everybody
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
to kind of get the lay of the land.
Oh,
Oh,
come on. Every time I make a perception roll, even though I have a +5, it's not very good.
what was that damage that I got again? I don't think I marked it down properly.
I do not remember.
I think it was 8.
Edward, the tensor's floating disc is still floating.
Is it now? Is it now?
It
Okay.
can't be far. Do just those two disappear, or are the others?
The imps are like skittering down the hall
Mm-hmm.
right now. The second Bargeist that was affected by your fear effect is like trying to make it around the corner to also run out the hall.
Mm-hmm.
Him doing him best.
Doing his best.
There's still a 20-foot circle of spike growth on the floor.
And a partially finished spell circle.
The circle is basically finished. It might or might not be impacted by the spike growth. You can't tell.
Mm-hmm.
That
at
was
first
the
glance.
thought process.
Yeah.
That was the hope.
But it
Yeah.
was drawn out but not cast
Right.
when you guys entered the room.
All right. Blep just kind of turns to her companions and goes, "Anyone have any ideas of where they went?"
Not sure. But let's not forget that we have something that could help us. And Edward, trying to be as subtle as he can, tries to like nod his head towards the floating disc and tries to see if they can catch on to what he's saying.
Yeah, I feel like we'd be able to pick up what he's putting down. We also do still have telepathic bond, so we could just
Oh, that's
be
right.
direct.
Then he says it very directly rather than quietly.
Nice.
And his voice sounds much colder and detached than usual.
Oh.
That's what I will do.
Arbor, if you could dispel this, so we can make sure that the spell circle is gone, that would be great. Because this is uncomfortable.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It was a good idea. It was a very good idea.
Is that something that I am able to dispel, or is that
I
just
think, like, at will you can.
then I do that?
Can you dispel somebody else's the
It was-
spike growth?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Arbor's spell.
Yes. Yeah, you can just wave that away. You can release the concentration.
Perfect.
Is
I
the
am
spell circle still intact?
It is remarkably still intact. Yes.
Can I, like, use my feet to, like, it was chalk they seem to be drawing it with, so can I, like, erase it with my foot?
Yeah, you can start to smudge
Okay,
the
cool.
markings.
Yeah. Just gonna take a beat to bust up that spell circle.
Okay. Callum, do you have anything specific that you're doing here?
But with the imp in front of him piecing out, he'll probably go back to getting his bow ready, since that's not available. But
Yeah. Are you guys letting the Bargeist escape? Because the Bargeist hasn't quite cleared the threshold yet.
I kind of think we just let him
yeah,
run.
like I'm probably gonna move more like out of the doorway, kind of into a into a corner kind of thing, kind of back into the corner closest to the doorway, but still in the room.
Okay.
Yeah, just kind of wait.
Edward really doesn't want to. He really wants to fight this thing, but he can see that the team is kind of leaning towards a different way. So he's going to try his hardest to just be like, keep it together, man. Keep it together. So that's the vibe he's having. Great vibe.
Something's still here.
They're still
If
here.
the disc
And
is still floating.
yeah. What exactly were they trying to steal or take? There was books and a reliquary and a few other things.
Okay.
Should we have a look at those?
Everybody make me another perception check. Really quickly. And now that you are not actively fighting anything, anyone who is proficient in perception, I will allow you to roll with advantage.
Ooh.
Find out.
Yes. Yes.
Which one was better? 24.
I will take that 22.
Okay. Edward, you are not proficient in perception?
I am not. I'm
Okay.
proficient in a few other things, but not perception.
Okay. Just wanted to double check. So the other three of you notice that the Tensor's floating disk has started moving back towards the passage, as if to exit the room. Yeah.
Quick, pile onto it.
Callum runs and jumps on it.
Okay. It's not quite enough.
Damn it.
It wavers and wobbles in the air, but it's not quite enough to dispel it.
Can I just
It
start
needs
kicking
500
stuff?
pounds.
Can I just start kicking stuff off of the disc?
Make
She's just being disruptive as possible.
Make me an athletics check. Also, both Edward and Arbor are fairly close. If you feel the need to join Callum's example and hop onto the disc.
Well, do I get any added weight from? Because I think I'm still
You're
a
in wolf
beast
form,
right
yeah?
now. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'll jump on.
Okay. And you successfully kick a bunch of stuff. The books and scrolls, especially, you are able to just kind of whiff off of the disc. And as Arbor in wolf form leaps onto the disc, you are able to land solidly enough to overweight the floating disc, and it dissipates in a soft burst of silver sparks.
Can I take a look at some of these books and scrolls really quick to see what, like, their
Sure.
contents is?
Sure. And you are also able to kind of have a bit to look around the room as well. And you are able to notice that there is a large fresco along the wall that shares the same surface as the threshold that you walked through. So it was like kind of behind you as you walked into the room. And there is a large fresco of a number of divine beings. They are depictions of many of the religious figures in common religions in this area. And at the center sits a figure with long, protruding horns seated amid these very tall and towering divines, with his hands crossed in his lap and his wings gently folded in repose behind him. Sir Blep, you start looking at the scrolls and books and things. Many of these are written in very ancient texts. What languages do you speak?
Infernal and common. That's it.
Remarkably, despite the iconography around this room, none of these are written in Infernal.
Well,
There are texts that do share a similar alphabet to Infernal
Mhm.
that looks familiar, but you can tell by the syntax and the parsing of the characters that it's not Infernal, but it's a similar alphabet.
Mhm.
But there seem to be a number of very, like, everything that you are picking up right now is very clearly ancient.
Mhm.
Like, it has not been touched in generations. There are illuminated scripts with very beautiful hand illustrated paintings in them. There are scrolls that contain very lengthy documents of some kind. It's hard to parse what all of them are. You are able to find what appears to be a journal, given its styling. Like, there are dates, and the way the paragraphs parse out, you're able to tell that it's a journal of some kind.
Clarify, we are out of initiative, yes?
Yeah.
But our enemies are still in this room? Or have
You
they-
cannot perceive your enemy, but
Mm.
I am keeping you in initiative right now. It's a loose initiative because enemies are still nearby.
Yeah.
Ellen will be like just keeping an eye down the hallway, kind of, I'll say, attack ready. Like if they come back towards the room to re-engage, but that'll be what he's spending his time on. Like, he doesn't know about any of that ancient stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Can I make a religion check on the figure in the center with the long horns?
Yes, you can.
Come on, baby.
This matches up with any of the depictions of this character that you have ever seen, though this is probably the most blatant depiction of this character. This is the Sojourner Divine. This is the one cloaked in shadows and smoke.
Oh, man. The manuscript languages are not in Infernal, you say?
Correct.
They are
not
close.
in Infernal.
Is there any way
Similar.
to check? Is there any way to check to see if they're celestial?
You
They're
can
similar?
pick them up and have a look. Would you also like to approach the texts and see what they might be?
I think Edward does do that, but his eyes are still kind of on the religious figure because that's
Okay.
really caught his attention. But he's going to take like a quick peek and see if maybe the hunch he's feeling is right or wrong.
Okay. Is there anybody else who is joining in on this as well?
I might as well. I know a couple languages.
Okay. As you join in, rifling through the texts before you, primarily many of them are in Celestial. There are also texts in Primordial, Druidic, Sylvan, Abyssal, and Aquan.
Wow. Will anything jump out at us in any of the like celestial text? I mean, I know Druidic and Primordial too.
Go ahead and give me either a what is this going to be? History, religion, or investigation check.
May I do the same but for
Or
Celestial?
Yes. Yeah.
Got it.
Anyone who is able to read any of those languages can make that check. I think it's just the two of you.
Go team.
Ooh, some spicy rolls there. So both of you are able to kind of parse things together, and you are able to recognize that many of these texts actually range in age. The most recent of these texts seem to have been from the members of a sacred order that existed several hundred years ago, that made this mountain sanctuary their sort of their retreat. It was not their base, as it was difficult to get to, but this was the place where they held many of their rituals. They held sacred. And Edward, you actually find evidence that they kept their dead here. Those who lived in, held in sanctity with their practices. This is their final resting place. You find an older generation of texts with much more Sylvan, that seem to be of the same era. And you can cross-reference this with some of the other documents that you were able to pick up, that these were kept by that younger organization. They were collected and kept here. And there was another generation previous that was also in the Ashfold Caldera and kept the land and were the stewards during the era of the change, when the Ashfold Caldera was freshly reshaped and when new things were being found in the area that had not been there before. You are able to find record in Celestial and in Ancient Common that refers to the migration of the trees, which records the shifting of the natural flora to start to demonstrate what you recognize as the modern traits of the area. So like discussion of the what was termed the gilding of the trees, where the trees started to shift from what would be considered a natural resin pattern to the blessed resin pattern with the blue tones. So it's a record of that shift in this section of the ashfold, and this series of this organization of wardens who were selected to maintain the area and their observations as the area shifted. But the journal that Blep recognized is written in Celestial, and it is of it is the daily record of the first chosen. It is essentially, as you read through it and as you recognize from your own studies, it is essentially the first cleric of Cloaked in Shadows and Smoke keeping a journal. Now, many generations hence, but it's their daily journal of their experience.
Shoot. Well, Edward, reading all of this, gets this really overwhelming feeling. It's like how much history has been in here that we suddenly find, and we were just fighting in this location, in a place where so many people have been buried, right? This is where their bodies are. And it kind of looks like he's just gonna like faint 100%. There's a terrible, shameful feeling in him of having fought and having his anger get the better of him. And he's just kind of holding the book, the journal, really tightly in his hands as if he's afraid he's gonna lose it if he lets it go. And he's not really sure what to say. Shit, man.
Edward? Edward, what's wrong?
We shouldn't be here.
Why not?
We shouldn't be. And he starts to like show the journals and the documents as well as he can. He's like, these are stories. These are stories of clerics, of great people who were here before. And there are people who have died here. And they're buried here. And we're fighting, and we're fighting with I don't know what, and I don't know why they're here and why they're taking all of this. What are we doing here?
Well, if these are sacred texts, then perhaps we should protect them. They were clearly up to no good. They were just going to take them, and for what purpose, I don't know.
It won't help us to fight then. I'm sorry. I know that Oliver was a dear friend to us. And believe me, I am just as angry as you are that he's been taken and I don't know where he is. But as so long as I'm here, and he kind of like points to the ground, I will not be fighting. And I am happy to take on that stance and speak to these creatures if we need to, but I cannot fight when we have this holy land here. I'm sorry.
No, I respect that decision. It's just...
But I don't know what to do.
We still have to find, well, whatever it is we're supposed to find. We never really got a very direct description, did we?
No.
Let's have a look around. See if we can find any clues. I know it makes you uncomfortable, but we have to press on in some way.
No. You're right. We have to move forward in some way. Because if not, what do we have? We have books left here collecting dust forever. I stand beside you. And he kind of like forces himself to kind of like get his shoulders back up, like, let's do this. He doesn't say let's do this though. Not quite in his vernacular. He's ready. He'll support.
I love it.
Is there
Edward
a-
has found his standard. He will rally behind it.
Is there another way out of this chamber?
Not at immediate glance.
Okay.
Nothing comes out as like another threshold or another doorway
I
or
see.
anything like that.
Okay, so then Bleppa's gonna head back out into the hall that they originally came from.
Mhm.
Edward, do you still have that torch?
Ah, yes. And he starts to dig into his bag, and he's able to get his torch out. I can light it for you if you'd like. I'm happy to go with you as well and light the way if you want to.
There
Look
is
more than just-
also a brazier like still burning in the
Oh,
corner
right.
of this room.
Yeah, we'll just grab that. Let's just grab that.
Well, you
The
can
torch
light
goes
the torch in the
Oh,
brazier.
right. No, brazier
Because
is.
it's
You should
That's
light
right.
the torch.
Sorry, it's getting late. My brain is
puts
like,
it in
what?
and takes it out.
Let's
I am
just, let's just
here-
grab the whole thing off the
yeah,
wall.
I am hecking
Ah!
here for Sir Blep just carrying a
Just
giant
a
basket
giant-
of fire.
Yeah, it's very on brand for her. Correct.
Yes, Edward is ready with the torch at
Yeah.
hand, and he'll follow Sir Blep where needed.
Yeah, we'll just
Mhm.
get that torch lit and start heading back down the hall.
Okay.
See what else we can find.
I need the two of you to make me a perception check.
Yep.
I thought you were about to say roll for initiative, and I was about to faint. And I was like,
I was be like, not again.
If we need to get you guys back into combat, I am just going to stay in the same initiative roll.
Cool.
Mm.
19.
Because technically you still have not left it. Also, I was
Also,
very
probably by
silly.
now that channel divinity has probably worn off.
Good to know.
Between looking at the books and the fresco and Edward freaking out, it's definitely been a minute.
Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
divinity.
I'm definitely no longer a dog. My concentration is went under the books.
no longer.
Alrighty. Thank you very much for those perception checks. All right, Arbor and Kellum, you are still in the room. What are you guys doing while the other two head down the hall?
Well, I follow them, or at least slowly make my way doing so. Meanwhile, taking a further look around at some of the things that are marked on the walls.
Okay.
So I'm not directly behind them, but I am, after reading all that text, it's piqued my interest a little bit. So I'm definitely like very curious, but slowly but surely making my way a fair ways behind them.
Okay.
I think Callum's attention or interest isn't really in the history of the place, but more in the safety of the group. So we'll probably stay back, but kind of line of sight to, in case something comes around the corner or something comes back at the group, to get the text and stuff to be able to loose an arrow and defend the group.
Okay. Alrighty. So the three of you who are like looking around for stuff. Let's start with an investigation check. And if you would like to do anything specialized, please let me know. All right. Arbor, with that investigation check of 19, you are, now that you are kind of taking a little bit more time to really dive in to the setting and everything like that, you are noticing that not only are these runes here in a multitude of different languages, they are also in a multitude of different handwriting styles. Multiple people assisted in the creation of this passageway. And all three of you notice repeated the sentiment. It doesn't always translate exactly the same, but you see repeated the sentiment of safety in sanctity, generations in protection. And sometimes it gets a little bit clumsy because, like, there's different, like, Arbor, you're especially noticing this. Like, it doesn't translate the same in every language because there are lots of different languages on this wall. And even the celestial that's there, like, if you were really heavy into linguistics, you would be able to tell that, like, colloquial usage shifts. So, like, there's a generational shift in the linguistic usage. So much so that it's like the shift from neat to groovy to lit. It's that same kind of linguistic shift. Like the translation is the same. The sentiment behind the words are the same. But you've got shift in that usage.
I should check in with that stinging bite that we got earlier. So, like, as I am processing all of this, it reminds me of, like, yes, camaraderie. So I trail a little bit and talk to Kellum, and I'm like, hey, you also felt that weird sting, right? How are we feeling now? What was that?
I don't know what it was. I mean, I'm a little roughed up. I think I'm fine.
That's kind of where I'm at. But that was weird.
Yeah.
Either of you can make me a medicine check to know exactly what happened, if you would like.
Oh.
Slightly better.
Arbor, you're like, man, that was really weird.
Yeah.
Kellum, you may not have fought Bargeist before, but you know a poison bite when you get one. And that's exactly what you were dealing with. They had a bite that was going to cause you that was going to inject a poison.
So really, that you were able to resist it, but that could have been bad. Could be dealing with poison in addition to everything else.
So luckily we are not poisoned, but it was a close call, is my
Close
understanding.
call. Yeah.
Great.
Exactly.
More reason to be cautious with anything coming back.
Right. Okay. We continue trudging along.
Okay. So you guys make it to the end of the passageway. You are now at the exterior door again, the exterior threshold. Did you have any other specific things that you wanted to look into with this passageway?
Did we ever figure out the crows? Are there any more weird crows lurking around, or did that also disappear with?
You are not noticing either crows or imps in the area.
It's the only thing I could think of.
Or rats.
But I will also point out that at this point you have figured out that the crows and the rats were the imps.
Right. Great.
They were shape changed to be natural beasts.
Yeah, of course they were. Could I roll for perception just to be safe? If there's anything that we might.
What are you looking for? Or what are you listening for? Or what are you trying to perceive?
That's a good question. I would say a pathway right now, because if I understood right, we had the outside where we came in, then we had the room location, which is where we saw the imps and where we battled. But other than that, now we're just walking down another corridor. Is that right?
You're walking down the same corridor.
The same corridor.
Yeah.
I
So you
think I would
went
like to
from
roll
the
for
chamber
perception.
in towards the outside doorway.
Okay. In that case, I think I want to roll for perception in terms of safety. If there is anything that might catch my eye in terms of this could be dangerous, everyone on guard, like right now.
Go for it.
Got it. Watch me get a nat 1. Oh my god.
We're the opposite of that.
Yeah. With that natural 20,
Oh, we love it.
you can actually see footprints in the snow leading back into the hallway.
I immediately point this out to the group.
Because like there are lots of footprints that were headed outward because you witnessed a whole bunch of creatures leave. But there is a set of tracks that leads back into the hallway.
Yeah, I point this out to the rest of the group.
The hallway in the direction that we're heading down, or
Reverse. So what happened was you guys were in the chamber, the main chamber, and you were like, let's go look around some more. So you looked around, you left the main chamber and went back down the corridor that you came into the space to begin with. Because that was the only obvious pathway from the chamber that you found.
Okay. So then Edward points out the snow footprints to us. Can I look and see how far they go? Do they go past the chamber that we were in?
The wetness on the floor from the traced snow does not go very far into the hallway.
Okay. And yet we didn't see an individual, or we didn't perceive an individual come into the chamber that we had ended up in.
Correct.
Well, is it worth checking in with our talisman and seeing if it has any direction for us to head into then?
Try that. I'm like a little at a loss right now.
Which of the modes that it is capable of using would you like to utilize here, Arbor?
Well, we've been in the like trail guide mode, right?
Yeah.
So continuing with that and seeing if there is like a next waypoint that it would like us to head in.
Okay.
So start there.
So you are standing near the threshold of the door that you came in. The trail guide mode points you to the cairn that is just outside the threshold.
Oh, because we're here. How helpful.
What other options are available on that thing?
Yeah. So we
Maybe
We could-
swap settings.
Beacon, but no real use of that. What is the weather like? That is another mode that this has, but I could also just ask if we are at the threshold. What's it looking like? Is it still really snowy?
The Also remind me what the beacon mode does.
Well, that would just set a beacon for us, right? I'm gonna be honest, the only word I wrote down for that mode was beacon. That was the last one that figure told us, and then he kind of went on his own way.
So Arbor's memory is not so good.
No, that was all the information that was given to us, was that, oh, you could use it as a beacon. But we also have like true compass, like due north,
Mhm.
or zenith marker for like weather and sun. So I mean, that would be my impulse for the next option.
So I will jog your memory.
Oh,
The
great.
beacon setting works similarly to Sir Blep's detect good and evil.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Ooh. So maybe that.
Yeah,
Maybe-
let's do
maybe
that.
Okay. All right, you will set that going, and you now have a very foreign sensation in your head. That down the hall there is a fiend.
I love that.
It got past us?
Yeah.
Yes, it did. Rather you walked past it.
Well,
Oh.
Well, that's
oh, he was
distressing.
hiding.
Well,
Well, I see we
I'm
look
so
for.
curious.
yeah, we should turn around then, huh?
Yeah. Well,
I guess so.
Also, you guys are standing at the threshold. You have the opportunity to just observe the weather.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
it's still quite stormy. Like, it looks like it may have died down for a second, but it's still quite stormy.
Fiend is. Hill's more confused. Like, all he was doing was watching for something in the hallway
Mm-hmm.
and still didn't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's probably invisible. Or it can teleport, or it can do something.
Now that Arbor has discovered that there is still another fiend here, I'm going to allow all of you to make another perception check
Cool.
with advantage.
Oh, thank goodness. Come on, be
Let's
better. Be better. Yes.
That's one. I'm going to roll it again and hope for better. Okay, much better. All right, I'll take that. I'll take that.
All right. Those of you that ended up with a 22,
Quite a few of us.
you can see that the snow prints follow a little bit further down the hall, but that didn't tell you much more information than what you already knew,
Right.
that there was a fiend ahead of you.
Right.
You can't seem to find it.
Then let it come to us, maybe, because they're looking to transfer manuscripts, books, and we have them now.
Mm.
Maybe instead of looking for it, we have it come to us.
Worth a shot.
Callum would go over to, if it doesn't know how it works, that circle on the ground on the other side of the chamber. Almost guard it, or just see if anything seems to be different, or kind of just camp out there.
Okay.
Be a point of exit that is the front.
Okay.
I think Edward will grab one of the manuscripts that's around in the area and just kind of hold it up, kind of just look around, and then I think he's gonna call out in common and just say, "We have what you want. If you want this back, you come here now and speak to us, and we know you're here." And he's just gonna see if anything responds.
Okay. Let's see how we're feeling here.
Oh my God, no. I don't like that.
You all get the sense in your mind of this just pursed sneer. Just that kind of through telepathy.
Okay. Do we try to contact again and keep persuading? Because I think there's an opportunity where we don't have to fight. I think it's a matter of our willpower and maybe our wits / persuasion, maybe. But I want to see what you guys are thinking before I have Edward do anything. He's sitting at the side.
Yeah.
He's
No,
like,
I'm just feeling a wee bit puzzled. And
Mm.
so I went back through my notes, back to the vision that was given to us, or that someone shared with us. The one cloaked in shadow and smoke is displeased with the presence of the fiends. There's something up the mountain that must be retrieved and protected, but no idea what that item is. But apparently we'll know it when we find it.
we might have found it.
Maybe. Blood will try just stepping forward and being like, "What do you want with these items? Why are you here?"
History.
Yes, they are in fact historical artifacts. Very good job. What do you want with them?
Trade.
I don't believe these are yours to trade. What gives you the right?
I got here first.
Oh, there were ones here long before you, it seems.
Forgotten.
Who are you?
No one of consequence.
You seek to trade. What are you looking to trade for? with this history and knowledge?
More knowledge. Power. Position.
And if we destroy these manuscripts?
I find business elsewhere.
Blub kind of looks really shocked at Edward's suggestion of destroying the manuscripts.
We're specifically here to protect and collect.
Something.
If you can find your knowledge elsewhere, why not let us leave with these manuscripts? They seem to have of no great importance to you if you can find them anywhere else.
It's a different payout.
Edward looks towards the group and he has just such a conflicted expression because in his hand is a manuscript with such knowledge and history and he doesn't want to destroy it. But he doesn't know what they're up against.
Anyone with a proficiency in religion, please roll me a percentile.
Is that just
Or-
rolling a d20? Oh, the d100.
Yes. Or
So-
or a religious affiliation.
Okay. I'll do the d100.
Do you only want one of us doing that, or as many people?
As many people as would like to participate.
Okay. Technically, as a paladin, I have religious affiliation, so I will do the thing.
Heck yeah, you do. Let's go, bestie.
That's a 12.
Did I do that
Oh
right?
God, bestie.
Sir Blep, where are you located right now?
I'm standing beside Edward, so
Okay, but are you in the main chamber or are you in the
I
corridor
believe
now?
we went back into the main chamber
Okay.
to pick up. Yeah.
Sir Blep, you are actually the first to notice.
What?
You notice that there is a soft blue light behind you, and you feel on your shoulder a very gentle but intentional pressure. And you see a face that you have seen before. A very mild, plainly dressed figure, frequently carrying a lantern on a pedestal in the town square. This is the town crier of Mountain Shade Village. And they raise their hand and gesture out into the corridor. And with a very faint blue aura about them, in a very hushed tone that seems to carry well beyond the volume of their speech, they say, "Be gone." And in an instant, you see the invisibility spell drop on this Arcanaloth, and it leaves. It's like, I've been seen.
I've been perceived.
What?
Blub just kind of turns with absolute wonder on her face, assuming the figure is still there, and just goes,
Mhm.
"Thank you."
Like, just Callum would have seen it from across the room, I'm assuming.
It you were not able to notice it as soon as Blep was, but you saw the figure sort of shimmer into existence.
By any chance, and this is a big ask, but we were sent to find something. I don't suppose you know what we should turn our attentions to?
The sanctum.
And which way is that?
He just kind of gently looks around the room, and you see a very faint smile.
So here.
At this point, Callum would have probably crossed across the room, seeing this whole thing happen. Just asked, like, how did you get here?
I am always here.
Edward is somewhat terrified and he takes several steps away before asking, "Who are you?"
A good question.
Bob is just gonna start poking around the chamber, like kind of like steps away from the figure, looking a little confused, and then turns her attentions to this main chamber, to back to the quote unquote task she was given,
Yeah.
and trying to find this thing that must be retrieved. And see if there's anything that stands out, because we were told we'll know it when we see it.
Mm-hmm. Make me an intelligence roll.
Okay. Yes! Yes! Best time to get a nat 20!
That is perfect. All right.
Ooh.
So with that natural 20, you have this moment to kind of really take stock of what's around you. And you realize that this chamber is immensely well protected and by some fluke was able to be breached.
Mhm.
This is an ancient sanctuary.
Mhm.
And it has been a place of collection for generations upon generations of members of this religious order, of this path of study, and all of their works have been collected in this place. This is not only a history of this region, but also of these people, and these peoples, plural, who have experienced the influence of this mountain. And you realize that part of the challenge that you were having is that you couldn't see the forest for the trees.
Heh.
What you were sent to retrieve and keep sacred was this place.
Oh.
It's the knowledge and the history.
That
Oh
there
my
were generations of people who took it upon themselves to archive this information. Very, very distinct give me a moment.
You're fine.
Oh no, bro.
There we go. Yes. So there were generations, multiple generations that took it upon themselves to recover all of this information and collect it in one place, in a place that would be protected, and possibly a place that has been protected since the beginning of this history. And while you could take parts of it as evidence of the location and perhaps temporarily secure those things elsewhere until the enclosure could be restored, the thing that you were sent to find was this place.
Got it. Is the figure still present with us, this town crier?
Mhm.
Okay.
And if anybody would like to roll an insight.
Ooh.
Yes, please.
16's okay. I guess.
Sure.
Oh no.
Oh, Edward.
Edward
Eddie.
is just
He's going through it.
blown away by the realization of where he is standing and what he is surrounded by, and
My man is gonna pass out in like 5 seconds.
that
He's
that
like-
one though. Amazing. All right. So I love that Kellum is the one to catch this. There is something about the way this being carries itself. This is not the town crier. It
It's
introduced itself as the town crier, but this is not the same man that you saw in the town square. This is something much grander than the man you saw in the town square.
Is it similar to the feeling of the traveler that we saw?
Yes, but a different flavor.
Different, but there's a familiarity to that.
Yes. You have humanoid. This technically doesn't count, but I will give it to you. Would you like to make an intelligence? I think it's intelligence, not survival, the other one that you get as your
Oh. Yeah, int check.
Yeah.
And I get advantage on int.
Yes. Would you like to roll that with advantage, please?
Sure, straight roll, but why not? Who knows? 17 isn't bad.
Okay. When you saw the town crier appear, it appeared with an aura. And that is an aura that you know to be shared with certain types of celestials. Would you like to relay this information to your party?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So that's like how he actually like part of it is I think he's kind of just floored and also not trying to be like, hey, this is a celestial in front of the celestial that just like
You guys do still have access to the telepathic
have it?
bond for a little bit
Then
longer.
we'll just do that direct then. Like
Okay.
that appearance, that was celestial in nature.
Okay.
Oh, can I roll for religion? I need to know.
You can.
I
Anybody
have a
who-
Thank you.
very strong feeling, but
Everybody
Blep
is
would
welcome
not.
Blep is just going, fascinating. How
Yeah.
did they sneak up on me?
Yeah.
Edward, you've done so much research about celestials in the course of your life. You have way too much information to try and filter through right now. Edward's feeling so many feelings right now. He can't even try to parse out what this might be.
You don't know the half of it, friend.
Yeah. Arbor, on the other hand, with that 24, that now that it's been pointed out that you are looking at a celestial of some kind, this is a deva. Which is one of the higher orders of celestials. It is shapeshifted in some way because it looks like the town crier. But it is a deva. And if you would like to roll me an additional history check or intelligence roll, I have a feeling history as a check is going to be better for you.
Ooh.
There are ties in the speech pattern that allow you to realize that this is the first cleric.
Oh.
Like the one who wrote the journal that
The one who wrote the journal.
Edward is holding.
Okay, that's kind of wild.
Yes. So yes, this is the first cleric who wrote the journal that you found in this chamber.
No biggie.
NBD. Hello.
Yep, I agree.
Concur. Uh-huh.
That's my brain right now. While that information is being processed, because I'm assuming it hasn't been shared yet, Blep will just kind of turn back to our new pal and just be like, we were also asked to protect this region. Is there anything we can do to help ward it against invasion before we leave?
Well, closing the door might help.
There's a door here. There's a door.
Jor.
Things were already inside when we made our way in. Is there another entrance?
No. But they have the ability to move themselves as they wish. It is not my time. I cannot make this choice for you. How to protect the future. I took my turn already. Now it is your turn.
telepathically, I think it's time to relay the information about who this is that I am still in shock and awe about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe subtly suggest to the party that we wall back off that big ol' hole we made to get in here, like, as soon as we get done with this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that seems correct.
Definitely a figure whose words we should heed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did the it can tell back to Edward more of a question. Did the journal say how it defended or protected the knowledge previously?
Edward's hands are like shaking as he's looking through the journal. And I'm not too sure what the answer is, DM. Is it a matter of something that I have to roll for?
I mean, you're leafing through the text at this point, so like you can skip to the end and see what was going on.
Let's do it.
But basically, what you've been able to glean with your skim of the text is that we were able to the first cleric was able to spend their life quietly building a small belief system around the Sojourner Divine, because in taking a step away from the divine mantle and coming down to the Terran plane, they lost a great deal of power and protection. And in those centuries, when the divine first took their leave, there were other divines who came down and tried to convince him to come back and take up his mantle again. And the cleric basically found the one cloaked in shadows and smoke and said, "It's all right. You will be whole again." And slowly built a following to rebuild his divine power. And kept record and created space for there to be a following even without the divine influence that the one cloaked in shadows and smoke actually possessed as a member of the divine council. When he stepped away from that, he no longer had access to all of those divine capabilities, and so had to deal with a much lesser form of power for a very long time. And so the first cleric found a space to create and tell the story and create belief around this divine who was unable to create that following themselves, and passed that on to the next generation and created this practice of keeping record and discovery and practice of knowledge and finding people of all walks of life to bring together into this safe place. And passing on the story.
So it's not just a matter of finding the information and the knowledge and history that was passed out and then closing the door. It's bringing that information out with us so it can't be forgotten.
Perhaps we bring the journal?
My voice is not the only one that matters.
It's everything.
But your voice is the starting point.
Let's get
It
you
is
out
up
of here
to-
then.
We should go.
With that, the town crier takes a step, removes themselves from Blep's side, basically, Blep's shoulder, and calmly walks towards the fresco with all of the divines. And just before making contact with the wall, you see from its head the long protruding horns appear. And the clothing shifts from the plain clothes of the town crier into an ancient tunic and sandals. And it disappears into the fresco.
So Blep just kind of watches this happen and just goes, that was the. Oh.
Oh, dear Lord. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
We have quite the story to share now, don't we? Just to be
And I
sure.
think with that, that is an excellent place to leave our story for the ages.